Good morning, grade 7 students. It is a great day, isn't it? I hope that you are doing good. Always remember to make every minute of your day productive and do not forget to have your alcohol with you and sanitize every now and then. Before we start our lesson, let me give you some reminders. 1. Prepare and watch carefully the video lesson. Make sure to focus and stay attentive on the lesson being presented on the video. 2. Stay on a quiet place to avoid disruptions. 3. Have your modules with you while watching the video lessons. 4. Be honest while watching and answering the activities. I believe that you are now ready. Let us have our opening prayer.
Our loving and generous God, we praise and thank you for the bountiful blessings you have given us. Thank you for giving us a mind that can know and a heart that can love. Thank you for giving us the chance to continue learning amidst the pandemic that had caused a lot of changes in our lives. We are sorry for the times we have failed you. We humbly ask for your forgiveness. Father, help us to stay focused on our studies. When learning becomes difficult, grant us the gift of courage and enthusiasm. Grant us the grace to use our knowledge in making a difference into the lives of the people around us. All this we pray in your mighty name. Amen.
I am really excited of being with you today. Come and join me in this day full of learning.
Let us now have your attendance. For your attendance, you will be monitored by means of a Google Form link that will be sent to your group chat on Facebook Messenger. This link is for those who have access on the internet, while for those who doesn't have access, they will also be monitored via phone call or text message.
Today, you are going to learn on how to appreciate the Filipino identity through our literature and culture. Each of you are expected to, first, discover literature as a tool to assert one's unique identity and to better understand other people. Second, analyze the elements of epic, myth, and legend and the setting during which they were produced. And lastly, express your awareness of diversity in our culture. In this episode, you will understand how literature gives you the opportunity to search for your beginnings and make your encounters of the teachings and beliefs of our elders through their literature. As we recall our ancestors' beliefs, we are already strengthening the culture, history, environment, and wisdom that we inherited from them.
For your classmates under modular distance learning, I will be giving them separate instructions and they will be tasked also to read and accomplish activities using their printed modules. They can also ask for the guidance of their parents. Same with the instructions that I will be giving with the students under online learning and blended learning. I will also give you separate instruction to help you accomplish the activities that we will be having along with this video lesson. You can also send me text message, call, or even chat me.
Are you excited? Me too! Before we start our lesson proper, let us test whether you have a background knowledge about what we are going to have today. Let us now have our initial activity. Make sure to listen carefully on the instructions that I will give you. And of course, you will need your paper and pen because you have to write your answers on your paper. Are you ready? Great, let us start. Here is what you're going to do. On your paper, I would like you to analyze carefully the statements on each items and identify what they tell about. Write only the letter of your answer. Let us now start. 1. It is a narrative that describes and portrays the origin of basic elements and assumptions of a culture in a symbolic language. They involve supernatural elements and are beyond logic. A. Fable. B. Parable. C. Myth. D. Legend. If your answer is D, legend, you are correct. 2. This is a story in a narrative form about the past and believed to be historical. They may also deal with stories which explain the origin of things, places, and their names, plants, animals, and others. They are also used to teach lessons in life. A. Fable. B. Parable. C. Myth. Or D. Legend. If your answer is D, legend, again, you are correct. 3. It is a long narrative poem which tells about the acts or exploits of a legendary hero to save his country, race, or community from a savage creature. A. Legend. B. Fable. C. Myth. D. Epic. If your answer is D, epic, very good. You are correct. 4. It is a style of writing derived from the presentation of the features and peculiarities of a particular locality and its inhabitants. A. Local color. B. Genre. C. Elements. D. Wordplay. If your answer is A, local color, you are correct. 5. The story of Si Malakas at Si Maganda is an example of blank. A. Myth. B. Legend. C. Epic. D. Fable. If your answer is D, Fable, fantastic! You are correct. What you did a while ago is related to our topic that you will learn today. And this is about appreciating the Filipino identity through our literature and culture. Let us know more about it. Let's go! For your next activity, I would like you to identify to which tribe do the given Philippine literary heroes belong. Choose the letter of your answer from the box. Write your answer on a separate sheet of paper. 1. Aliguyon. If your answer is Igorot, you are correct. 2. Bantugan. If your answer is Maranao, you are correct. 3. Indarapatra at Sulaiman. If your answer is Mindanao, you are correct. 4. Biag ni Lamang. If your answer is Ilocano, fantastic, you are correct. 5. Hinilawod. If your answer is Visayas, amazing, you are correct. It seems that you are really familiar with our Philippine literary heroes and their tribes. Amazing! One kind of narrative that is often told and retold is the hero tale. It is a long narrative poem telling the acts or exploits of a legendary hero to save his country, race, or community from savage creature. Let us read together the story and be ready to answer an activity later. Let us start. Biag ni Lamang, The Life of Lamang by Pedro Bucaneg. Don Juan and his wife Namongan live in Nalbuan, now part of La Union in the northern part of the Philippines. They had a son named Lamang. Before Lamang was born, Don Juan went to the mountains in order to punish a group of their Igorot enemies. While he was away, his son Lamang was born. It took 4 people to help Namongan give birth. As soon as the baby boy popped out, he spoke and asked that he be given the name Lamang. He also chose his godparents and asked where his father was. After 9 months of waiting for his father to return, Lamang decided he would go look for him. Namongan thought Lamang was up to the challenge, but she was sad to let him go. During his exhausting journey, he decided to rest for a while. He fell asleep and had a dream about his father's head being stuck on a pole by the Igorot. Lamang was furious when he learned what had happened to his father. He rushed to their village and killed them all, except for one whom he let go so that he could tell other people about Lamang's greatness. Upon returning to Nalbuan in triumph, he was bathed with women in Aburayan River. All the fish died because of the dirt and odor from Lamang's body. There was a young woman named Ines Canoyan, whom Lamang wanted to woo. She lived in Kalanutian, and he brought along his white rooster and great gray dog to visit her. On the way, Lamang met his enemy Sumarang, another suitor of Ines, whom he fought and readily defeated. Lamang found the house of Ines surrounded by many suitors, all of whom were trying to catch her attention. He had his rooster crow, which caused a nearby house to fall. This made Ines look out. He had his dog bark, and in an instant, the fallen house rose up again. The girl's parents witnessed this and called for him. The rooster expressed the love of Lamang. The parents agreed to a marriage with their daughter if Lamang would give them a dowry valued at double their wealth. Lamang had no problem fulfilling his condition, and he and Ines were married. It was a tradition to have a newly married man swim in the river for the rarang fish. Unfortunately, Lamang dove straight into the mouth of the water monster Berkakan. Ines had Marcos get his bones, which she covered with a piece of cloth. His rooster crowed and his dog barked, and slowly the bones started to move. Back alive, Lamang and his wife lived happily ever after with his white rooster and gray dog. Let us now check your understanding and make sure that you have with you your paper and pen. Here is what you're going to do. I would like you to complete the table by choosing the letter of your answer from the choices on the box. This is to show the Ilocanos' rights, rituals, beliefs, and values which are depicted in the story. Write the letter of your answers on your paper. You may now start. Here are the answers. Wow, you are really good in this. Excellent! I believe we can now dig deeper and know more about the key ideas that you have to remember in this episode. The variety and abundance of our customs and traditions have become evident even in the Philippine pre-colonial literature. Folk stories, epic, poems, and chants, myths and legends existed in most ethno-linguistic groups that were passed on from generation to generation and were recorded in printed form using local color. Let us have the first key idea: local color. It is a style of writing derived from the presentation of the features and peculiarities of a particular locality and its inhabitant. It concerned itself mainly by depicting the character of a particular region, concentrating especially upon the features of a dialect, manners, social customs, and landscape that distinguish the area. The term is also applied to fiction or verse, which emphasizes its setting, being concerned with the character of a district or of an era as marked by its customs, costumes, topography, or other peculiarities that have escaped standardizing cultural influences. Second, we have the word epic. It is a story about a legendary hero who exhibits quality admired in a person in addition to great fighting ability and mental alertness. The epic is a long narrative poem based on oral tradition. It presents the heroic deeds of the main character, embodying the beliefs, customs, ideals, or life values of the people. The hero of an epic is imbued with idealism, courage, wisdom, beauty, endurance, chivalry, and justice. His legendary adventures are full of fearful obstacles put up by supernatural forces or by people with supernatural powers. Philippine epics represents ethnic groups and deal with regional heroes. Third one, we have myth. Myth is a narrative that describes and portrays the origin of the basic elements and assumption of a culture in symbolic language. Myth narratives relate, for example, how the world began, how humans and animals were created, and how certain customs, gestures, or forms of humans or human activities originated. In other words, myths are traditional stories occurring in timeless past. They involve supernatural elements and are beyond logic. Long ago, when your ancestors heard the sound of the thunder and saw lightning, they were frightened because they could not understand why these things occurred. In order to understand these and other natural events, they created stories to explain why they happened. Lastly, we have the keyword legend. Legend is a story about human events or actions that has not been proved nor documented in real history. Legends are retold as if they are real events and were believed to be historical accounts. They usually tell stories about things that could be possible, so both the storyteller and the audience may believe they are true. Legends are believed to be about more recent events, and like myths, they may also deal with stories which explains the origin of things, places and their names, plants, animals, and others. They are also used to teach lessons in life. I invited a friend of mine to share their belief as a Maranao person about the creation by means of telling a story. Here she is.
I feel so happy today because I will share to you our belief, the Maranao people, about the origin of our creation. So listen carefully, and you can use your paper and pen to take down notes of the important details in our story that will help you answer the next activity. Are you excited? Me too! Let us now start. The creation story, Maranao. This world is divided into 7 layers. The earth has also 7 layers. Each layer is inhabited by the different kind of being. The uppermost layer, for example, is the place we are inhabiting. The third layer of the earth, which is found under the sea or lake, is inhabited by nymphs. These nymphs also possess certain magical powers. It is stated in the story of Raha Indrapatra that he met and fell in love with the princess nymph with whom he had a child. The sky also consists of 7 layers. Each layer has a door which is guarded day and night by a huge mythical bird called Garoda. The 7th layer of the sky is the seat of heaven, which is also divided into 7 layers. Every layer in the sky is inhabited by angels. Maranaos believe that angels do not need food. They all possess wings with which they fly. Heaven, which is found on the 7th layer of the sky, is where good people's spirits go after death. Saints are assigned to the 7th layer, while persons who barely made it are confined to the lowermost layer, which is found at the bottom of heaven. It is in heaven where we find the tree of life. On each leaf of the tree of life is written the name of every person living on earth. As soon as a leaf ripens or dries and falls, the person whose name it carries also dies. The soul of every person is found in tightly covered jars kept in one section in heaven. This particular section of heaven is closely guarded by a monster with 1,000 eyes, named Walo. Walo, in addition to his 1,000 eyes, has also 8 hairy heads. The epic Darangan speaks of Madale, Bantugan's brother, and Mabani, husband of Lawanan, entering this section and retrieving the soul of Bantugan.
Wow, that was really an interesting story from the Maranaos' belief about creation. For your next activity, I would like you to locate and use the information from the story a while ago to determine whether each given statement is true or false. Write T if it is true and F it is false. Here is your activity. You may now start. Here are the answers. Fantastic! You nailed it! Before we proceed on your assessment, let us have our generalization about the lesson on this episode. Studying literature is important so that we can better appreciate our literary heritage. We cannot appreciate something that we do not understand. Through a study of our literature, we can trace the rich heritage of ideas handed down to us from our forefathers. We were able to analyze the elements of epic, myth, and legend and the setting during they were produced, and also appreciate the Filipino identity through literature. I believe you are now ready for the assessment. Here is what you're going to do. For Task A, read the following selections that are present on your module and identify whether they are legend, epic, or myth. Write your answer on a separate sheet of paper. You may now start. Here is the activity. For Task B, go through the following paragraphs taken from the different literary selections. Write LC if the details depict local color, and NLC if not. Use a separate sheet of paper for your answers. Here is the activity. Are you done? Let us check your answers. Here are the answers. Congratulations! I knew you will be able to make it this far. I am really proud of you. You are amazing. It feels great that this episode is very fun and productive. I hope that you will not forget all of the things that you have learned from this episode. I am really happy to be with you in this day full of learning. I am Teacher Asiel Tolentino saying, if you want to preserve culture, know your literature, never forget, and continue creating. See you next time and let us learn together again, only here at Learn with Teacher Asiel. Goodbye!